Alright, so in this problem, I have x to the power of 4 is equal to 1. So I'm going to first start by subtracting 1 on both sides. So then these two cancel out, and I get x to the power of 4 minus 1 is equal to 0. Now x to the power of 4, I can rewrite this as x to the power of 2 times 2. And if I have something in the form a to the power of m times n, this is equal to a to the power of m to the power of n. So x to the power of 2 times 2, I can write this as x to the power of 2 to the power of 2. Now I have this minus 1 is equal to 0. Now 1 is the same thing as 1 squared. So I have x squared to the power of 2 minus 1 squared is equal to 0. If I have something in the form a squared minus b squared, this is equal to a plus b times a minus b. So in this case, a is x squared and b is 1. So I have x squared plus 1 times x squared minus 1, and this is equal to 0. Now, remember how now this is equal to, this actually gives me two equations. I have x squared plus 1 is equal to 0, and I have x squared minus 1 is equal to 0. So for x squared plus 1 equals 0, I'm going to start by subtracting 1 on both sides. So these two cancel out, and I get x squared is equal to negative 1. Now if I take the square root on both sides, the square root of x squared is x, and the square root of negative 1, if you guys already know, is I. So I have positive negative I. And for x squared minus 1 equals 0, I'm going to add 1 on both sides. So I get x squared is equal to 1. If I take the square root, I get x is equal to positive or negative 1. So that's 2 more solutions. So these are my 4 solutions to this problem. Alright, so in this problem, I have x to the power of x to the power of 10 is equal to 400. So to start, I'm going to rewrite 400. Actually, before that, I'm going to rewrite 400 as 20 squared. And now I'm going to take the power of 10 on both sides. So now I have x to the power of x to the power of 10 to the power of 10 is equal to 20 to the power of 2 to the power of 10. Now, if I have something in the form a to the power of m to the power of n, this is the same thing as a to the power of n to the power of m. So in this case, we can think of x to the power of 10 as m and 10 as n, and I can switch these two places. So now I have x to the power of 10 to the power of x to the power of 10. And also, if I have something in the form a to the power of m to the power of n, this is equal to a to the power of m times n. So this is the same thing as 20 to the power of 2 times 10, which is 20. Now I'm going to let x to the power of 10 equal to the variable y. So now I have y to the power of y is equal to 20 to the power of 20. And a to the power of a equals b to the power of b. This means that a equals b. So y is equal to 20. Now remember how we let x to the power of 10 equal to y, meaning x to the power of 10 is equal to 20, and x is equal to the 10th root of 20. Alright, so in this problem, I have x to the power of 6 is equal to x minus 1 to the power of 6. So I'm going to first start by subtracting x minus 1 to the power of 6 on both sides. So then these two cancel out, and I get x to the power of 6 minus x minus 1 to the power of 6 is equal to 0. Now I'm going to rewrite this as x to the power of 3 to the power of 2 minus x minus 1 to the power of 3 to the power of 2 is equal to 0. And if I have something in the form a squared minus b squared, this is equal to a plus b times a minus b. So in this case, this can equal x to the power of 3 plus x minus 1 to the power of 3 times x to the power of 3 minus x minus 1 to the power of 3 is equal to 0. And now if I have something in the form a to the power of 3 plus b to the power of 3, this is equal to a plus b times a squared minus ab plus b squared. And a to the power of 3 minus b to the power of 3 is equal to a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. So I'm going to rewrite this as x to the power of, x minus 1 times, x plus x minus 1 times x squared minus x minus 1 times x plus x minus 1 squared. And then we have this times x minus 1 times x squared plus x minus 1 times x plus x minus 1 squared. And these two are actually separate equations. So this is equal to 0 and this is equal to 0. So let's first start with this here. So x minus 1, these two x's cancel out. So I'm simply left with positive 1 times x squared plus x squared minus x plus x minus 1 squared. This is equal to x squared minus x plus 1, which is x squared minus 2x plus 1. So we have 3x squared minus 3x plus 1 is equal to 0. And to solve this, we can use the quadratic formula, which is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a, which is equal to 3 plus or minus negative 3 squared is 9 minus 4 times 3 times 1 all over 2 times 3, which is equal to 3 plus or minus the square root of 9 minus 12 over 6, which is equal to 3 plus or minus the square root of negative 3 over 6, which is equal to 3 plus or minus the square root of 3i over 6. So these are my two solutions.